Hi, and welcome to the CrossFit VSC talk on healthy eating. This talk is directed at those of you who are new to CrossFit VSC and want to know more about nutrition. This talk also explains what you're expected to eat throughout the Real Food Challenge. The topics we will be covering are what healthy eating is and why do it, how to keep it simple, the do's and don'ts, why eating for weight loss is not the way, bullshit marketing initiatives, and doing the best you can with what you got. So, CrossFit Prescription for healthy eating is as simple as this paragraph. Eat meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, no sugar. It is that simple. There's no magic formula, it's not rocket science, it's as simple as these words. Eat meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, no sugar. Now to delve into this paragraph a little further, let's break it down. So eat meat and vegetables. When you serve your plate, it should consist of a piece of protein, meat, chicken or fish, about the size of your palm. The rest of the plate should be covered with colourful vegetables. The more colourful the better. Deep greens and rich reds are colours of vegetables with lots of nutrients. Nuts and seeds. These are a great snack and complement any salad. They are full of healthy fats and support brain and body functions. Some fruit. 2 to 3 pieces of fruit per day is a good amount. Fruit are full of vitamins and are a great source of carbohydrates. Having fruit around workouts are a great way to increase your energy levels and also, when coupled with protein sources, help in the repair of your muscles. Little starch. Starch refers to processed carbohydrates like pastas and breads. These types of food should be kept to a minimum per week and not a daily staple of your diet. These types of carbs overload your system and interrupt your body's natural way of regulating its blood sugar level. No sugar. This refers to refined sugar, found in all of those foods that we know are not good for us, like donuts, chocolates, cakes, alcohol, etc. I've also added on this slide to drink lots of water. So water intake is very important. Staying hydrated is crucial to staying on top of recovery and also for overall general well-being. A general rule of thumb is 330 mils of water per 10 kilos of body weight. For example, I weigh 90 kilograms, so I drink around 3 liters of water a day. So why eat healthy? There are literally hundreds of reasons why you should. However, I've summed it up into these 6 major points that I find super important. So firstly, more energy throughout the day. We always want to do more in our day, get the most out of life. And in order to have energy to do that, we need to eat healthy. We're also going to be less sick. So if we eat healthy, we dramatically reduce the risk of sickness and reduce the amount of times you have to see the doctor during the year. Vitality. You'll have a greater enthusiasm for everything you do throughout your day. You're going to generally feel good all the time. There's no reason why we should feel bad, lethargic, tired. If we eat healthy, we're going to feel good. By having more energy, we're going to be more alert, which allows us to be smarter and also think faster. And putting them all together, we're going to be able to increase the amount of work we do throughout the day. If you want to get out after work and kick the football, go for a run, you need energy to do that. And if you eat healthy, you're going to increase your work capacity throughout the day. The do's. Eat whole foods, fresh fruit and vegetables, all types of meat, nuts and seeds. We've heard this since we were children, to eat our vegetables, and it hasn't changed when we've become adults. If you don't like fruit and you don't like vegetables, I really strongly believe that you should do your best to try and start eating them because they're a staple of every nutritious, healthy diet. Eat until you're full. Hunger is your body telling you that it needs fuel. So fuel your body with carbohydrates from fruit and vegetables, protein from meat, fish and poultry, and fat from natural sources like avocado, nuts, seeds, and olive oil. Drink water. So as stated before, 330 mils of water per 10 kilos of body weight is a good rule of thumb. And finally, organize your meals in advance. This will allow you to be consistent and prepared for the week ahead. The don'ts. So stay away from processed foods. If your food comes in a packet, has an expiry date, has a list of ingredients, can be kept for months on end, then it isn't food and you should stay away from it as much as possible. Consume no refined sugar. So refined sugar is found in soft drinks, donuts, cookies, ice cream, chocolate, and all of the like. They're not good for you. We know that, and it's not a part of a healthy diet. Do not undereat or restrict your eating. So don't get caught up with calorie counting or energy in, energy out nonsense. This complicates a very simple part of life. Eating healthy is not rocket science. It's 100% natural, instinctive, and necessary. Finally, do not reward yourself with a cheat meal. By rewarding yourself with a cheat meal, this further reinforces bad food as a reward for good deeds. This will not help you in creating a healthy way of eating. If you want something that's not good for you, then just simply have it and move on and focus on your next meal being as clean as possible. So we hear it a lot how alcohol leads to weight gain, and this slide just breaks it down and explains exactly why. So we have this order of operation: alcohol, then carbohydrates, fat, and then protein. So this is the order of operation that our body goes through when metabolizing food. Now, in everyday scenario, you would not have the alcohol there, and your body would go through carbohydrates as its first form of fuel. Then once that's all depleted, your body will go into its fat reserves for energy. And finally, your body will go into protein for energy as well. However, we never want our bodies go into our protein levels for energy, because this would just mean that we're in a muscle depletion stage. So, getting back to this slide. So alcohol sits on top because at the end of the day, alcohol is a poison. So as soon as you consume it, your body wants to rapidly metabolize it and get it out of your system. Now, if you drink a lot of alcohol, in those alcoholic drinks, you're gonna be consuming a lot of sugar as well. So you can already start to see, if you drink a lot of alcohol and a lot of sugar with those alcoholic drinks, your body is only going to be able to metabolize the alcohol and the carbohydrates and never really get down to the fat for its energy source. The reason it's important to get down to our fat reserves for an energy source is that that's where we see visible weight loss. So eating for weight loss is not the way. Calorie counting and the starvation response. The main part of eating for weight loss revolves around calorie counting. Calorie counting in a nutshell is about restricting the amount of calories you eat throughout the day in order to lose weight. So let's take an example. Let's have this guy called Bob. Bob consumes 3,000 calories a day and then cuts down to 2,000 calories a day. He will lose weight. This works in theory. However, our bodies are much smarter than this. Enter the starvation response. So we've all heard of those stories where a person gets lost in the wilderness and survives for 2 weeks on a chocolate bar. This is thanks to that starvation response. It works like this. If you restrict your body from the calories it needs, then your body will adapt to this situation and it will start storing energy instead of metabolizing it. So going back to Bob, he cuts to 2,000 calories a day, and then after 6 weeks, he loses some weight, however hits a plateau. Bob is eating the same amount of food and doing the same amount of exercise, however he can't lose any more weight. This is the first stage of his body's starvation response kicking in. His body is adapting to 2,000 calories a day, therefore it's starting to store the energy intake it's getting and not metabolizing it. So in order to kickstart the weight loss again, Bob cuts down to 1,000 calories a day. Again, he experiences some weight loss, and again after 4 weeks he hits another plateau. Once again, this is his starvation response kicking in to adapt to the situation of 1,000 calories per day. After this next plateau, he decides to cut to 500 calories a day. Now, when you cut to 500 calories a day, as you can see in the pictures below, it's not that much of food. We've used hamburgers or Big Macs because it's just visually it's easier to put on this slide. So you can see 3,000 calories is close to 5.5 Big Macs, and then 2,000 calories, 3.5 Big Macs, 1,000 calories, 1.5 Big Macs, and then finally 500 calories is about 3/4 of a Big Mac. Now, we're not condoning eating Big Macs, but we're just using it for the sake of this example. So, what ends up happening after 500 calories a day? Usually, no one can maintain this. So you can maybe last a couple of days, 3 days tops, and then you're going to go on an almighty binge, which Bob has done, that lasts for way too long and ends up putting on more weight than he had in the first place. This is the story for majority of the contestants on The Biggest Loser who experience major weight loss in 3 months, however cannot maintain it once they're out of the house. The other problem with calorie counting is that different types of foods have different effects on us. For example, 500 calories off a Big Mac has a totally different effect on our bodies hormonally than 500 calories of chicken and salad. So before we go any further, there's 2 major hormones that you need to be aware of when it comes to healthy eating. So ghrelin. Ghrelin is our hunger hormone. It goes up when we are hungry and it goes down once we have eaten. The other major hormone is insulin. Insulin is released when you ingest sugar, and it helps to either use the sugar in your blood for energy or store it for future use. Now, a Big Mac is loaded with sugar. It's also loaded with fructose and high fructose corn syrup. When you consume a Big Mac, your body's ability to regulate sugar is overwhelmed, so it stores it for future use. Now let's just get this clear. Storing is your body accumulating fat. So if you regularly eat Big Macs, your body's going to regularly be storing or accumulating fat because your body can't cope with the amount of sugar you're loading into it. In addition, fructose actually increases your ghrelin levels, and the high fructose corn syrup creates inflammation throughout your digestive tract. So that's a really shitty situation to be in. You're consuming food that is supposed to be suppressing your ghrelin hormone. However, the fructose that's contained in that food is actually increasing your ghrelin levels. The high fructose corn syrup that's creating the inflammation throughout your digestive tract is just wreaking havoc on your insides. So if you've ever felt bloated or gassy after a Big Mac, or the other when you eat something from Macca's and then like 10 minutes later you're hungry, this is the reason for that. In contrast, 500 calories of chicken salad has a completely different effect on your body. Sugar in the form of carbohydrates in the salad are at a minimal amount, allowing your insulin to comfortably regulate this amount. A balanced, clean, whole food meal allows your ghrelin levels to decrease, and your body metabolizes all the macronutrients and uses it as your body requires. For more information on this topic, check out the book Good Calories, Bad Calories by Gary Taubes. Bullshit marketing initiatives. So this is a really important part of the food industry that you need to be aware of so you can make the right decisions. So there are many so-called helpful programs that are supposed to help you buy healthy foods, however are purely designed to steer your buying power to specific products. When you see like a 4.5 star health rating on a Milo tin that has 50% sugar per serving, or if you see a Heart Foundation tick on a Macca's menu, you know something that doesn't add up. So just be careful and use your common sense. When it comes to healthy eating, you need to do the best you can with what you have. Now, ideally, and in a perfect world, we'll all eat organic food that has been grown locally and has entered our house within 24 hours of leaving the farm. Now, that is an ideal scenario. It's not a realistic scenario. So sometimes we get caught up in this ideal scenario, and if we can't abide by that ideal scenario, then we might think, well, what's the point of doing it at all? So what I want to stress is that there is a lot of other ways to approach healthy eating that isn't ideal, but is still really healthy for you. So this table here allows you to see the different types of options you have when it comes to healthy eating. Now, if we just focus in on the meat, for example, a bad way of approaching your meat would be to buy, shitty meat from like say KFC or your McDonald's, meat that has no skin, no bones, that are very processed. So that's a bad way of approaching meat. However, a good way of approaching meat is to buy your whole meat that could be, from the supermarket. That's a better option because at least you're getting meat that is actually coming from a farm. Now, a better way is to get your whole meat from a butcher that's, grass-fed. That would actually be cheaper for you than going to a supermarket to get your meat. And it's a really good option for eating healthy. Now, obviously, the best column, you're going to get, your grass-fed, pasteurized raised cattle. And again, if you can do that, awesome, power to you. But most of us will stick within that good and better column, and you're still going to be kicking goals if you can. Stick to those two columns in the way of healthy eating. So to recap, the do's: eat whole food, eat until you're full, drink water, and organize your meals in advance. The don'ts: stay away from processed foods, consume no refined sugar, and do not reward yourself with a cheat meal. Also on this slide, you'll see, cut the bullshit. You need to change your thoughts about what healthy eating is. Eating for weight loss is not sustainable. However, eating clean is the way to go. Also, you don't get fat from eating fat. You get fat from eating shit food full of sugar, preservatives, and chemicals. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this talk. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to hit up one of the coaches at the box, and we look forward to seeing you in the Real Food Challenge real soon.